Hello, this is Nick here for you today with my second part of my series of problem sets for the AP Computer Science test. So we'll just dive right in. First problem, it's a class called time, and there are lots of methods, and each of the implementations is not shown, so you just kind of imply things about them. So let's just go through it. Which of the following is a false statement about the methods? Equals, less than, and toString are all accessor methods. So generally, equals, less than, and toString all just access these data fields and then like compare them or whatever. So that's true. Um, Increment is a mutator method. Yes, because it just changes seconds. It just advances time by 1 second. So it changes this field by 1. So true. Time is the default constructor. So this is true because this is the constructor without anything in it. And the time class has 3 constructors. If you see here, it only has... So you can tell because it's time, and then there's no other time in any of the methods. So these two are constructors, and those are the only constructors. So it only has 2, and this is the correct answer because it's false. And then there are no static methods in this class. It doesn't say static anywhere. So that's how you tell that it's not static in any of the methods. Okay, number 2, which of the following represents correct implementation code for the constructor with parameters? Here it is B because H, M, and S are the parameters that need to go into the constructor, and these are the private values in here. So you need to put the parameters into the private variables. So B is the correct answer. 3. A client class has a display method that writes the time represented by its parameter. So this is just an add-on to the first one. Which of the following are correct replacements for method body? Right here. So time t equals new time HMS system.out.println t system.out.println t.myHours plus, and then it just sets the time up in the right way, and then system.out.println t. And so in A, it just like constructs a new time, but these variables are out of scope, h, m, and s. They're not a thing within this. So then number 2, system.out.println, and then it tries to access private fields. You can't access these outside of the actual class because it's in a client class. So then system.out.println, this automatically calls the toString method, and so that's the only correct one, so it's C. Awesome. So 4, which statement about parameters is false? The scope of parameters is the method in which they are defined. Static methods have no implicit parameter this, and so on. C is the right answer because, well, I'll just read it. 2 overloaded methods in the same class must have parameters with different names. And this is just false. Like you to overload something, you have to have the same name and the same parameter set. Otherwise, you won't be overloading it. So, going on. So question 5, it refers to this date class. And it has my date, my month, and my year. And then a bunch of methods. So which of the following correctly constructs a date object? Date D equals new. It doesn't actually use the constructor. Doesn't say date. Date D equals new date 2/13/1947. That's fine. That's like what you're supposed to do. And then here you don't have date, here you don't have new, here you don't have new. So B is the correct answer. And 6, which of the following will cause an error message? Date D1 equals new date 8/2/1947. Date D2 equals D1. Looks pretty fine. Date D1 equals null, and then date D2 equals D1. Also fine. Date D equals null, int x equals d dot year. So the problem here is that you're calling a year, but the year variable has never even been made because it hasn't been constructed. So only 1 and 2 are correct. That is not one of the answers. So actually, the answer is E, 1, 2, and 3, because 1 and 2 are definitely right, and 3 must be right as well. Okay. 7. A client program creates a date object as follows. Date D equals new date 1/13/2002. Which of the following subsequent code segments will cause an error? String s equals d.toString. Seems fine. Int x equals d.day. It's fine. You're just accessing it. Date E equals D. Should also be fine. Date E equals new date 1/13/2002. Also fine. Int Y equals d.myyear. This is a private field, so you can't call that. So E is the only one that would cause an error.